UFC Fight Night, Ian Machado, Garry versus Carlos Prates. Okay, so I had made a video last time on the Fight Night in Abu Dhabi with um what was it? It was Amava versus Adesanya. And I did pretty good on the card, on the rest of the card. I got the MVP pick right. That was like a lock. He was an underdog and I knew that was a lock. Got that right. I got the Vinicius Oliveira pick right. I didn't get the Adesanya Imavov pick right. I did pick Adesanya, but I am back for the Ian Garry and Carlos Prates to show you that there's a new YouTuber on the block, and I'm gonna show you how I break down fights. I've been doing this now for a while. If you want to bet, I always recommend gambling is a dangerous thing to get into, but if you need to bet, if you just gotta, I would listen to me. So we're gonna get started from the bottom of the card and work our way up, and then I'm gonna explain each card. I mean each fight one by one. I'll edit that out. I'll explain each fight one by one. I'll break it down stylistically. I'll let you know how confident I am in my prediction for that fight. I'll let you know if I would put it on a parlay, if I would leave it alone, all that. You already get the idea. All right, let's just get started. So, starting off the card, we got Jocelyn Edwards versus Michael Chandler. She kind of looks like Michael Chandler too, actually. A little bit. Oh man. Okay. Well, Jocelyn Edwards is probably gonna win this, right? I know. So Chelsea Chandler, she's not good. She's not good. She just spams overhands. She'll maybe mix in the wrestling here or there. Jocelyn Edwards. Where's she from? She's from Panama. What are the odds? Yeah, she's a pretty big 290 favorite. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, she should be the favorite. She should win this. This Chelsea Chandler girl, she's just gonna be like, spamming these overhands. Jocelyn Edwards is actually pretty good at keeping range. She's just like Leon. She's very similar to Leon. Yeah, keeping range. She's gonna throw her leg kicks, be circling, and then this girl's just gonna be chasing her around, and she's not gonna catch her. I've seen her throw. Let's see her takedowns. Takedown accuracy. 5 attempts, 60%. 0 knockdowns. Yeah, Jocelyn Edwards is definitely gonna win this fight. Would I bet on this? Honestly, yeah. I would probably put that on a parlay. She's a pretty big favorite, so it's not the best thing, but yeah, it's not a bad pick. So Jocelyn Edwards, I'm pretty confident about that. Timmy Kwamba versus Robert. I'm gonna edit that out. We're gonna skip this. Jacqueline's gonna win this fight. Pollyanna is washed. She's old. The odds speak for themselves. -800 for Jacqueline. Pollyanna's she's just old, man. She's old. She's kind of in here. She's just having fun. She's just kind of like, look, 9-1 record. Yeah, Jacqueline's definitely gonna win this. Cameron Simon. Okay, boom. All right, now we're getting to the good fights. Cameron Simon versus Malcolm Wellmaker. All right, so Malcolm, they gave him the shorts and they fixed his record. I checked because they had him as 1-0. Obviously that wasn't right. 8-0, undefeated, coming from the Contender Series. Malcolm Wellmaker. He got a pretty good win in in the Contender Series, and he's explosive. He has decent boxing, good pressure, and Cameron Simon. So there's some narrative that Cameron Simon, he trains with Dricus. He's well-rounded, skilled, good. All this stuff. People were hyping him up before that Talbot fight, and we all know how that went. Look, he's not bad. I'm not gonna start shitting on the kid. You know what I mean? He's a good fighter. You know, he's skilled, but one, he's small for bantamweight. You know, he's kind of weak. You know, he kind of gets like bullied around. You know, especially any clinch situations, you just see that there's like a size discrepancy. You know, like the strength is just not there for him, and he has no power. He has no power. He like will gain. He doesn't gain any respect from his opponents. Peyton completely walked him down. Like ate all his punches. Did not phase. It did not phase him. You know, and I have a feeling that this might happen to him again. You know, how old is Cameron? Does it say it here? No, it doesn't say. How old is this kid? Well, it doesn't say how old he is anywhere, but I will be going with Malcolm Wellmaker. I think he's gonna knock him down a few times. If he doesn't finish him, which I could see that happening, I could see him knocking him out. If he doesn't finish him, it will be uh sort of like Simon fighting for his life, you know, scrambling, trying to get the takedowns, trying to clinch, trying to make his boxing work. But I don't think Wellmaker's gonna respect his power. I think he's just gonna walk him down. I think that's the majority of what the fight's gonna be. I like Cameron. He's a cool kid. He's not, you know, he trains with Jerkis, right? He's a cool guy, but I think either he should have a serious bulk up, right? Bulk up, gain some more muscle, gain some more size, really, I don't know, train some power, or drop down to flyweight, because he's a little bit too small to be a bantamweight, in my opinion. Um, yeah. Cameron has, Malcolm has a 71.5 inch. He has a reach advantage. So yeah, Malcolm's probably gonna win that fight. Okay, Damon Blackshear versus Al Tang Ali. Blackshear is definitely gonna submit him. I'm surprised they're giving him this fight. I thought they would probably give him somebody a little bit higher. Uh, Not ranked, but like I don't know, maybe a little bit better of a name. Um, Blackshear, you know, he's a. Didn't he win his last fight? Yeah, he did by submission, right? Yeah, I did see that. That was a pretty good fight against Gibson. Gibson did good though. He was pressuring him really well, and honestly, like I remember I had picked Gibson for this fight, and I was regretting it right before the fight started. But he impressed me. He did pretty well. He did lose by submission at the end of round two, but he did good. He didn't do bad at all. Yeah, Blackshear's probably gonna submit this guy, and then I'm guessing either one more unranked fighter that he has to beat, and then he gets a shot at the rankings, or maybe right after this fight they might give him a shot at the rankings because his grappling is good. He has like top 15 caliber grappling. He can work on his striking a little bit. His defense is like a little bit mediocre, but once he gets you on the ground, this guy has some nasty BJJ. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Damon Blackshear. Chris Gutierrez versus John Castaneda. Oh my god, bro. I have no idea. I have no fucking clue. I have no clue who's gonna win this fight. I'm gonna be honest with you. I should have looked into this one more. Chris is the favorite. Let me see the reach. This guy's reach. I'm gonna go with fuck it, I'm gonna go with the underdog. I'm gonna go with John Castaneda. Don't bet on that. Do not bet on that fight. Evan Elder versus Gage Young. Dude, where are these where are they getting these fighters from, bro? Who are these people? I'm gonna have Dude, who Gage Young, bro? Who's Gage Young? Bro? Who has he fought? I want to see who he's fought. Oh, he's coming off the fucking the contender series. That's why I don't know who this guy is. Oh, if you fight history, who has he fought? Who did he fight in the contender series? Is he gonna show me? No, bro, that shit won't even work. It won't even show me who he's fought. I'm gonna go with. I'm probably gonna go with Evan Elder, just because I'm pretty sure he's been in the UFC now for a little bit. I think that he has some experience. He's coming off of a win. Contender series guys aren't always. They're usually not very good. There's a few cases where they're able to shine, like Malcolm. I think he's gonna do well even though he's coming off the contender series. But Gage Young, man, I don't know, man. I'm gonna go with Evan Elder for this fight. Don't bet on that either. Matt Snell versus Jimmy Flick. Okay, look, a lot of people are gonna pick Jimmy Flick for this fight. A lot of people, and I understand why. And to be honest with you, I want to pick Matt Schlaw, right? Skills-wise, who do I think is a cleaner boxer, better grappling, more well-rounded? It's Matt, right? It's Matt Danger Snell. But the issue is that this guy in his last fight gets submitted by Cody Durden and tells everybody, hey, I'm retiring, I'm done, right? And now he's back. And he's fighting Jimmy Flick. I thought you were retiring. When that happens, when there's an athlete, when there's a fighter that is there, like they're kind of retiring, they're not really retiring, they're like, I don't know if I want to keep fighting, like I still need the money, but like whatever. And they know, there's no future there for them in fighting, they're not becoming champions. Matt is not going to crack the rankings again, right? He's not beating anybody past this level of competition. That becomes a problem because people go in there and they have self-doubt. They don't trust their themselves anymore. They don't trust their power. They don't trust their skills, and they kind of go in there and they're like half-assing the fight. They're kind of just going for a paycheck. They're Kevin Holland maxing, right? So even though Matt Snell should win this fight, if he had some momentum, if he wasn't coming off of all these losses and hadn't half retired in his fight and now he's coming back even though he said he retired. If it wasn't for all that, I would pick him. But because I feel like he's going to get in there and he's going to be sort of, he's not really going to be all in it. You know what I mean? He's going to be on autopilot. He's just going to want to get it over with, get the paycheck, get out of there. I'm going to have to say that Jimmy Flick will probably end up winning this fight. Probably by decision. That's probably what's going to happen. Maybe some fluke submission or something like that. But keep in mind what I'm saying. This is only if Matt Snell goes in there with zero fire. If Matt Snell goes in there and he fights like he needs to fight and he pressures and he uses his boxing, he trusts his boxing, he trusts his chin, which is pretty bad. I know his chin is pretty bad, but in the Durden fight, he actually took some pretty heavy shots and he ate them. So I wouldn't say he's I wouldn't say it's a glass jaw. Actually, no, man, it's flyweight. It's flyweight. You're getting knocked out at flyweight. Actually, no, he does have a glass jaw. But if he goes in there and he does what he needs to do, and he trusts in himself, puts the pressure on him, tries to go for a finish, I think that he can win this fight. But I'm gonna go with Jimmy Flick because I don't think that he's gonna go in there with that mindset. You know what I mean? But yeah, okay. We're on the main card now. Opening up the main card, we got Ikram Aliskerov versus Andre Muniz. I swear they already made this fight 1,000 times, and it just never happens, right? Ikram's interesting because can you believe this guy was a favorite against Robert Whittaker? I want you to grasp that as an unranked fighter, coming off of a win off of who was it? Wooly Alves. This guy was a favorite against Robert Whittaker, which is just mind blowing. I can't believe that. That was crazy. But Ikram, look. The thing about Ikram is we haven't seen that much of his grappling yet, even though he's coming from a Sambo background. and his grappling is probably very, very good. Why he doesn't use his grappling? Because he fell in love with the striking. You know, that happens to a lot of grapplers, like Ilya, right? Except Ilya is actually like the best boxer in the sport. You know, like arguably the best. Maybe some people will say Jan, but I would say Ilya. I think Ilya is better than Petr Yan. But Ikram is a tricky case because should he beat Andre Muniz? Is he better than Andre Muniz? Yes, 100%. 100% he's better, right? Especially if he goes in there thinking, I'm going to grapple this guy, I'm going to wrestle this guy, I'm going to submit this guy. He will be able to do that. He will comfortably be able to beat him like that, right? Look, he's a minus 550 here. Minus 550. He should be. He should be a that big of a favorite. The issue is, I am picking Ikram, by the way. I'm not picking Andre. There's no way I would do that. But I think that a lot of people are mistaking, because I know a lot of people say that his striking is ugly, it's sloppy, he's like sliding all over the place, and it's true. His striking could use a lot of work. But I have a feeling that this guy he's gonna get better. I think he's gonna get crispier, and even if he doesn't fully fix his striking per se, just based on the grappling, if he decides to actually use his grappling, which is what he's good at. If you watch any of his combo, his sambo background, like any of his sambo fights, he has very good grappling, very skilled. If he decides to use that, he will go far. You know, he's not gonna be a champion, but he could crack the top 15. He could be there for a good amount of time. But he has to use what he's good at, which is grappling. I don't know why he continues to strike, because clearly he's not good at it. Maybe he really just enjoys it and he wants to become a striker and he doesn't like grappling anymore. Who knows? But I think that if he wants to win this fight comfortably, he should grapple. He should go with the grappling game plan. Striking wise, he should still be able to beat Andre Muniz, but why do you want to risk that? Why do you want to risk getting knocked out again? You just got knocked out by Whitaker. If Andre Muniz knocks you out, like, bro, you're done. You know what I mean? Like, this fight is a make or break for Ikram. This is a very serious fight for him. If he loses this fight, then he could say goodbye to more opportunities. He's gonna have to go on like a 4-fight knockout crazy win streak to like get a crack at the rankings again. So I'm gonna go with Ikram. He should win this fight. I hope that he's smart and he does what he needs to do so he can beat this guy. I'm not even a big fan of him. I don't care for him whatsoever, but it's just disappointing to see somebody with that talent and it's like going to waste, you know. But yeah, I mean, if he goes against Whitaker, he loses again. He's still losing to the majority of the top 10. But yeah. Okay, Nicholas Dalby versus Randy Brown. These guys both lost their last fight, even though they won. Randy Brown definitely won that Brian Battle fight, and Nicholas Dalby, I remember he got robbed. I don't remember who it was against, but it was Rinat Fakadinov, the most over fucking rated guy ever. Bro, Rinat's so overrated. Holy shit. And he lost that fight, but from what I remember, it was pretty close, and a lot of people thought he won. That doesn't matter though. He's gonna lose this fight. Randy Brown should comfortably win this fight. Randy Brown is 238 favorite. Yeah, makes sense. He should be the favorite. Randy Brown's pretty good, man. I feel like this guy, he just keeps kind of getting unlucky, you know. I could definitely see him eventually getting into the top 15, but he just has to rack up a winning streak, because every time he's winning, he always just, you know, JDM, Brian Battle, he just gets put up. He gets these unlucky fights, right? That Brian Battle fight, he won that fight. After winning that fight, he should have gotten a ranked opponent, but he's getting sent back now to fight Nicholas Dalby. But he should win this fight pretty comfortably, I think. He's gonna use his length really, really well. He knows how to use his length really, really well. He's one of the taller fighters that I've seen, like a Jalen Turner, who just like, he's so upset he doesn't quit. You know, he actually continues to fight if there's some sort of adversity. My bad. But Randy Brown should win this fight pretty comfortably. Okay. So now we're gonna go with Michel Pereira versus Abus Magomedov. Okay. This fight, I know everybody's gonna be split on this fight. A lot of people are gonna be saying Michel is more athletic, explosive. He does flips. He does this. He does that. He jumps around, all this stuff. And some people are gonna say Abus because his cardio is getting better. He's fought better competition, whatnot. This fight, in my opinion, is pretty 50-50 at the beginning, right? I think as this fight will go on, I think we're going to see Abus getting the better of Michel Pereira. I think that he's going to be more better conditioned. He's going to mix in the grappling. He's going to do well with the grappling. Michel Pereira is not a very good grappler. A lot of people seem to think that he is. He's not the worst grappler in the sport, but against somebody like Abus, he will be losing. Even the striking exchanges, round 2, round 3, Abus will start to clip him. And I'm gonna have to say that Abus is probably gonna win this by decision or late knockout, right? Or Michel could fucking flying knee him in the first round. That could always happen because this guy's pretty wild. But I am gonna go with Abus Magomedov. I'm gonna go with the underdog here because he's only lost to Strickland and the fighting nerd guy, right? Kao Barajo. Those are the only two guys he's lost against. Those are not bad guys to lose to. Those guys are both in the top 10 right now, and one of them is a former champ, and Kao will probably end up fighting for the belt someday. So I really do think that and Michel Pereira, like, yeah, he's doing these flips and stuff, but he's doing them against cans. He's doing them against who's that guy's name? Igor something. Like cans. He's doing so that's why he's able to get away with it. With that Anthony Hernandez fight, I was pretty confident Anthony Hernandez was gonna break him over the course of the 5 rounds, and that's exactly what he did. He broke him. He mauled him, and I think that he will be on his second losing fight streak here once he fights Abus. I like Michel. I think that he's good for the sport. He's entertaining. He's funny. But I think Abus will finally get back into the rankings once he beats Michel Pereira here. But it's a close fight. I could see some people saying it's a close fight, especially maybe at the beginning. But I do think that rounds 2 and 3, Abus should take them. All right, now we're gonna see Giga Chikadze versus David Onama. Giga just missed weight by like 20 pounds. This guy is 36. I'm pretty sure. He's old. He's coming off of some bad losses. He did not look good in that Arnold Allen fight. Frankly, Arnold Allen didn't look that good either. I like Arnold. I think he's great. I think he's a pretty good fighter. I think his striking is good, but that fight was a bit lackluster. I think Arnold should have dominated him really in the second and third round. He won, but it wasn't this crazy performance. It should have been, right? Giga is not very good. His boxing is weak. He's a 1-round fighter. He has good kicks in the first round. Outside of that, he's grappling mediocre. He's just overall a mediocre fighter. He's 36 years old now. He's getting older. This guy had his run, that one title run, got stopped by Cater, and then since then he's just been left in the dust, and he went like a year and a half without fighting and stuff, like super inactive. I do think that David Onama should win this fight. He hits hard. David has power. I think he will probably end up catching Giga. Maybe not in the first round. He's going to try to pressure Giga in the first round. Giga's going to move well. He has good movement in the first round. But after the first round, it's wraps. This guy, Giga, he's a first-round fighter, He spams kicks too much, and he just gasses out. David will keep the pressure on him steady, consistently throughout the fight, and he's probably going to pull off the victory. Now, Anthony Smith versus Zhang Ming Yang, man. This is fucked up, bro. This is fucked up what the UFC are doing to the Lying Heart, to the GOAT, My goat, Anthony Smith, bro. Bro, 38-21, bro. What a crazy record. Bro, that record is insane, bro. 38-21. Holy shit. My God, he's a plus 390 underdog. Look, if this was like a year ago or 2 years ago, maybe he could fluke some sort of submission, do some bullshit where like he like I don't know. He could. I like Anthony Smith. He's delusional. Yeah, he's. I feel bad for him though. You know what I mean? This guy's. He's had a tough career. I know one of his coaches passed away recently, but man, that performance in the Reyes fight was like pitiful, and the fight before that too. It's like Roman Dolidze, bro. He let himself get boxed up by Roman Dolidze. That's bad. That's pretty bad. So I will say, I mean, yeah, Roman put like borderline a masterclass on Anthony. That's crazy. Like, how are you getting boxed up by Roman Dolidze like that? With this guy throws one punch at a time, and it's like the same overhand or jab, and that's it. Like, no, not even this guy. That guy doesn't even jab. But I will say that Zhang Mingyang should comfortably win this fight. That's why he's such a big favorite. Will he knock him out? Probably not out clean, but it's gonna be the classic. Anthony Smith's gonna kind of give up on himself. Zhang's gonna put the pressure on him. He's gonna have this mean face, and then he's gonna have this mean. He's gonna be like, the mean mug. He's gonna be moving forward at the beginning. Trying to pressure. The second that Zhang hits him, Anthony is gonna crumble and wilt, and it's going to be a ground and pound TKO like it always is, and he's going to be covered up, and then they're going to get the camera on him. He's going to retire. He's going to say, I tried, guys, I tried, and he's going to ask the UFC to put him in the Hall of Fame, probably. That's probably what they're going to do. We'll see. I don't think they will, but I know he's going to ask for it for sure. But yeah, so Zhang Mingyang definitely will win by KO, most likely ground and pound KO. So that I could say I would call that a lock. If you want to bet on that, but the odds are so high, I don't know if it's worth it. If there's any underdog that I would say is I'm the most confident in so far in this card, I would say it's Abus Magomedov, right? I would say that's probably it. Randy, I'm pretty confident too. Ikram, pretty confident. Match Snell. No, I had picked Jimmy Flick. Fuck, man. Should I pick Match Snell, bro? He's better. He is the favorite too. But it's like, dude. I mean, look, in his last fight against Cody Durden, he even before that Cody Durden fight, he was talking about being defeated. Feeling defeated, feeling like he was done. And he did well in the Cody Durden fight. He put the pressure on. He was, feinting, doing his little feints, throwing his combinations, twitching and shit. That little twitch he has, But man, I don't know if he's gonna win this fight, man. I would not bet on this fight. But if you are gonna bet on this fight, it's just, dude, Jimmy Flick is not good. Jimmy Flick is not good. He's not a good fighter. If Matt Schnell loses this fight, it's because of him. It's not because Jimmy Flick was better than him. It's just because Matt didn't want to perform. So it's all up to Matt to decide how he wants to approach this fight. If you want to risk your money, Jimmy Flick is a pretty sizable underdog at 210. I wouldn't bet on it personally, but I would say that Jimmy Flick is probably going to come out with the victory because Matt Schnell, he's done. This guy's done. He already retired. Now he's coming back. Almost everybody that retires and comes back loses. He just doesn't have the same drive. He doesn't want to fight anymore. This guy doesn't want to fight. He's coming back for a paycheck or something, or maybe a proper send off because they did him dirty. He didn't get an interview, nothing. Put his gloves down. They didn't even say he retired. So it was fucked up. But that's probably why he's coming back. All right. Enough of that. Main card. The fight that you guys have all been waiting for. Ian Machado Garry Ian Machado Ferry versus Carlos Prates. Uh, Ian Garry, man. So before I tell you who I think is gonna win this fight, I'm gonna say two things, right? Ian Garry, there's this. I've seen a few YouTubers. I saw Lucas Tracy talking about this. Uh, there's a few people that think that Ian Garry is overrated, right? They think he's overrated. They think he's slower. They think he's gotten worse over his career, his striking, all this stuff, right? That Shavkat performance was boring. He got pieced up by Shavkat, whatever. So a lot of people who are picking Ian Garry to win this fight are choosing him by submission, through grappling means, decision submission. I don't necessarily disagree with that. Now, with Carlos Prates, we have not seen this guy yet really be tested well with grappling. He's mostly been standing up against all his fights, all his previous opponents in his fights. And, he has a good left hand, straight. He has good straight shots. He uses his reach pretty well. He's pretty creative with his knees. Carlos is a good striker. He's a good striker, but he is not going to win this fight. Now, I'm going to explain to you guys why he's not going to win this fight, right? So, a lot of people think that Carlos is just going to knock out Ian. Ian's never been knocked out. His chin is pretty good. I know he got dropped by Song Kanan that one time, but he recovered very quickly. That was a flush, hard left hook straight to his chin while his chin was in the air, and he ate it completely. He got dropped, but he recovered quickly. He survived. I think that will be very similar with the Carlos Prates. Not to mention that when that happens, let's say Carlos does drop him, his left hand does hit, and he drops him, Ian will be able to out-wrestle Carlos Prates or out-clench him, right? He will have ways to recover. He will have a pathway to just grab him, make it boring, and just hold him up against the fence until he recovers, and then, continue grappling or go back to kickboxing if that's what he wants to do. The thing about Carlos is, one, his grappling hasn't been tested, and two, I get that people think it's cool that he smokes cigarettes and he drinks and all this stuff. And he's like, whoa, this dude's so sick. This guy smokes cigarettes, he smokes a pack a day, bro, and he trains and he fights and he knocks people out. This guy's gas. I fuck with this guy. Look, Carlos Prates is a cool dude. If he wants to smoke, he can smoke. But believe it or not, science and history has showed us many times that people who smoke do not have good lungs. They do not have good gas tanks. Carlos Prates will gas out in this fight. It's a 5-round fight. By round 3, he's going to be tired. He's going to be exhausted. Carlos is the worst out of all the fighting nerds. Let's get that clear. He is the least well-rounded out of all of them. He relies on his left hand, basically. That's all he has. He's like a Darren Till, even with the output, not as much as Darren Till. He does throw more output because Darren would fucking throw 1 strike per round. But even with his output, he could have more output, but he doesn't. Ian Garry will tire him out. He's going to, make it boring. Even in the kickboxing towards the end, round 3, round 4, round 5, you're going to see Ian Garry outworking him. He's going to start tagging him up. His shots are going to start landing. Carlos is just going to be tired. He's going to look exhausted. He's going to start to quit. That's most likely what will happen in this fight. Or he gets a knockout in the first round and he knocks Ian Garry out in the first round. That could happen. But I don't think so. I'm pretty confident Ian Garry should win this fight. I would even bet money on it that Ian Garry should win this fight. Now, a lot of people are going to start saying, Ian Garry hasn't had a knockdown in so long in his last 3 fights. Ian Garry, he looks slow. He's a vegan. His wife is sleeping with other men. All these things, right? Those things are all true, right? He is slow. But the thing is that I was rewatching Ian Garry's debut fight in the UFC. I rewatched his Shavkat fight. I rewatched his MVP fight. And Ian has always, he has good footwork, right? But he's heavy. He is heavy. He's not the fastest guy ever. He doesn't have the most pop, but he picks his shots well. He does move his head well. He does have good enough striking to hang out in the top 5, but it's mostly based off of skill, right? Less athleticism, more skill type of thing, is what I'm getting at. Ian Garry, he's not the most explosive guy in the world. He's not. He can get a little bit flat-footed at times. That's why he kind of looks heavy. He looks a little bit like that's why people would say that he looks slow, but he looked like that even in his debut fight, which I think a lot of people are forgetting, right? Again, another thing. His past 2 fights where he didn't look that good was against one MVP, who's one of the best strikers in the sport right now, maybe the best striker in the sport. That's arguable, but I really don't think there's anybody who can beat him in a pure striking matchup, without wrestling. I don't think there's anybody, right? Obviously heavyweights and stuff, but you know what I mean. It was against MVP, extremely fast, blitzes, very difficult to counter, very difficult to hit, right? Made Ian Garry look slow. Of course he did. MVP makes anybody look slow, right? This guy is like a bullet, right? That's one. 2, Shavkat. He fought against Shavkat. Shavkat, in my opinion, through what I've seen through his striking in general, I don't think Shavkat is I would honestly say Sean Brady should skip Shavkat and fight for the belt. And then it should be Sean Brady versus Shavkat. I think Sean Brady mauls him. I think Sean Brady right now is the best contender in the division, right? But Shavkat, that fight with Ian Garry was pretty close, but I would say that Shavkat's striking doesn't impress me all that much. Is it top 10 material? Of course it is. Shavkat is a top 10 fighter. He does have top 10 skill, but his striking, this guy Shavkat is very similar to Ian in the sense where they're a bit flat-footed. Shavkat has no head movement in the later rounds. Ian does, but you get my idea, right? Shavkat's not the fastest, not the slickest. He's a bit, he's a marauder, he's like he walks you down, right? And that's what he did to Ian, and that's why Ian looked maybe a little bit slower in that fight, but that's because that fight in general was just slow. There's a lot of clenching. Shavkat wasn't, they're about the same speed is what I'm getting at. That's why Ian hasn't looked that fast or that explosive in his past 2 fights, but people are forgetting that he is still one of the best strikers in the division. And I think that he's going to show that tomorrow night against Carlos Prates in, where is this happening again? In Kansas City, right? This is in Kansas. Yeah, so Ian Garry should win this fight. I'm pretty confident. I think that these odds are honestly pretty good. Minus 130 for Ian Garry. I would say that's a steal. I would bet on that. Carlos Prates, I know there's a lot of hype with him right now. I know, he's knocked out all past 4 of his opponents. He's knocked them all out brutally. But that's the thing. He's knocking these people out and he's not showing, he's not showing anything else. He's not showing anything else. He's not showing his grappling. He's not showing his cardio, his athleticism, anything else. Just that he hits hard and he's slightly explosive, right? That's pretty much it. That's all we've seen from Carlos Prates. This is a pretty big step up in competition against somebody like Neil Magny, right? Who I have no idea how Carlos knocked him out with that punch. That was like, it didn't even look like it touched him. But I guess he just hits that hard, right? I don't know. So there is obviously a possibility that Carlos lands the left down the pipe and he stings Garry and he knocks him out. There's always that chance. But 9 times out of 10, Ian Garry should win this fight. And I'm going to be going with Ian Garry as my final pick. So real quick, we're going to go down the card and I'm going to create a parlay for you guys, right? I'm going to just go with the locks, right? So Jocelyn and Edwards, I'm putting that on the parlay. Jacqueline and more, 2 two WMMA fights right at the beginning of the parlay. If you don't want to put these on your parlay just because they're WMMA fights, I understand. Honestly, fuck Jacqueline Amore. She's a minus 800, so that's not even worth it. Jocelyn Edwards, we're gonna go with would I put Malcolm on this parlay? I think so. This is up to you guys if you want to put Malcolm on this parlay. The reason I wouldn't put him on the parlay is because there is a chance that Cameron shows that he's improved from his past two fights, and he could always, sort of like make it boring and kind of like, have like this sort of uses allow Calvin Kattar type of fight where Malcolm's just chasing him around and Cameron's just like, picking him apart from the outside and winning a decision like that. There is a possibility there is a world where that could happen. I don't think it's likely, but if you want to be really safe, I wouldn't put this on your parlay. But if you want to be a little bit risky, I would take Malcolm Wallmaker. All right, Damon Blackshear. I'm pretty confident on that. I'd put Blackshear on the parlay. Skip this fight. If you want to be super risky, I would not put this on a parlay. Do this as a straight bet. Jimmy Flick. If you want to, risk it for the biscuit. But if not, then don't even pick this fight. Don't put it on the parlay. Ikram on the parlay. Randy on the parlay. I would put Abus Magomedov on the parlay. I would put him on the parlay. That's what I'm going to do. It's up to you guys. I know he's an underdog. I know this fight is pretty close in a lot of people's eyes. I don't think so. I think Abus should win this fight. But yeah, I'd put him on the parlay. I'd put David Onama on the parlay. I'd put Zhang Ming Yang. He's a minus 520, so maybe it's not worth it. But I'd put him on the parlay. And then I'd finish off with Ian Machado Garry for the parlay to make some fucking money. Thank you for watching. I'm going to be uploading more videos. I'm going to be breaking down fights. I'm going to be talking about the UFC. I'm hoping to, to have fun with this YouTube channel. And, I've been watching MMA for a good amount of time now. I figured, why not talk about it? I know so much about it. I might as well talk about it. A lot of people are going to call me a casual in the comments, I bet, if people even fucking watch this video. But... But I would say that this parlay is not bad. You will make money off of it if you trust me. And yeah, I will catch you guys later. Make sure to follow and subscribe. Peace out.